You sent a personal letter to the White House and to Congress within the past few days explaining that ballistic missiles, as you put it, remain Vladimir Putin's last major battlefield advantage. You need a surge of interceptors to take these missiles out. Have you gotten a response from America?
This is this is the priority for us and big challenge. We had a very difficult, tough winter. Russia attacked us by a lot of ballistic missiles on our energy infrastructure, water supply, schools, universities. It was very difficult. Now we see big deficit. Of course, one of the reasons is the situation in the Middle East with the Iranian war, and we see that the deficit is increasing, and we need to hurry up to rush and to send messages and meetings and do a lot of meetings with other partners. We don't see enough missiles in production of the United States. We see that it can be crisis in the world, including Middle East. Of course, I hope, God bless, that the ceasefire will be long and lasting peace. I wish it to Middle East countries and to the United States, and I hope that President Trump and his team and American side will negotiate ceasefire.
Yeah,
But what we
ceasefire.
see, we have to prepare for the challenges. And we in Ukraine, we don't have ceasefire. We have a long 5 years war.
Yeah.
And we see that Russia is increasing in their internal production, the production of ballistic missiles. And we have deficit with anti-ballistic. This is a big problem. I sent a letter to the White House and Congress of the United States, and I hope that they will understand and will answer, respond. And this is very important. We need to increase the production.
You sent.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's crazy. So because Russia is Orishnik, they're throwing the Orishnik missiles at Ukraine, and they need something to intercept those missiles. Those missiles. I'm sorry. Let's take a look at your let's take a look at the stock price. I don't know if you can see it. Let me get myself a little smaller here. The stock price right now is sitting at 174, right? This is RTX, which is Raytheon's parent company. It's sitting around, 174, 175 right now as we speak. The 52-week low is like about 135, and analyst price target is about 238. And I'm pulling this chart up because Zelensky just asked Trump to let Ukraine build Patriot missiles, and Raytheon makes the Patriot. Now, most people covering this story have never been within 100 miles of a Patriot battery. I've been on one. I've been a part of a battalion at Fort Bliss, United States Army. So let me give you the angle nobody else is giving you on this, right? So today we're switching gears. We're going geopolitical, we're going financial, okay? And we're going personal because this story connects directly to my time in the U.S. Army in a way that most people covering it can't say. So let's get into it. You feel me? Hold on a second. Let's change this up a little bit. All right, bet. All right. So you can see the stock price right here. It's right at about 175. I'm gonna show y'all something else that's really cool. Okay. But here's what happened, right? Ukrainian president Vladimir Zelensky went on CBS Face the Nation back on May 29th, few days ago, right? And made a very specific acts of the United States government, right? Let me get to it, right? What he said, right, is that he didn't just ask for more Patriot missiles. He asked for something bigger. He asked for a license to manufacture the Patriot missiles themselves, like inside Ukraine. Ukrainian production of one of the most advanced air defense systems ever built. And the reason he's asking is because the math on supply is completely broken right now, right? The US is currently producing approximately about 60 to 65 Patriot interceptor missiles per month. That's it. 60, 65. That's it. Okay. But Ukraine is going through roughly about 200 Patriot interceptors per month. just defending against Russian ballistic missile attacks on their cities, their energy grid, their water systems, their civilian infrastructure. Um, so you don't need a calculator for that math. They're burning through 3 times what's being produced every single month. That gap doesn't close on its own. And every interceptor that runs out is a Russian missile that hits something it wasn't supposed to hit. Okay. Um, but let's take a look at this stock. Let me see. Let me make sure I got everything. Yeah. Oh, no. Let's go back to it. So Zelensky, let me put him back on stage, guys.
Letter to the
He sent the personal letter to them, right? And he's saying, if you can't produce enough, let us produce them, right? Give Ukraine the license, the technology transfer, the ability to manufacture them ourselves and close that gap from our end, because we'll get it done. We have a much, he has a heavier interest in getting them done and getting more Patriot missiles, because I fired them and I'm telling you, they magnificent. It's something you want to get, if a country ever tried anything, this is definitely what you want on the coast, is you want a Patriot battery on the coast to take care of anything, right? I know they want to do an Iron Dome and all that, which is, I don't know, it's a whole different subject. But the Patriot missiles you want to have on your coast, so that you can, protect yourself, right? And he also made a broader argument like that expanding the Patriot production will benefit the U.S. allies in the Middle East as well, like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, countries that are also like relying on like Patriot missiles, right? For their own defense. So he's framing this as not just about Ukraine, it's about the entire allied air defense ecosystem, I guess is what you can call it, right? Now, let me tell you what I actually know about this system from standing next to one and operating one, right? I was a Patriot missile crew member, Fort Bliss, U.S. Army. And I want you to understand something that gets completely lost in the way. Politicians and news anchors talk about this weapon. The Patriot is not a missile, it is not a rocket you point at something and fire, right? It's a complete integrated air defense system. And that distinction matters enormously when you're talking about production licenses and technology transfer. So here's what a full Patriot battery actually consists of. You got the radar, right? It's the eye of the whole operation. It detects, tracks, identifies incoming threats, ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, aircraft. The radar is seeing all of it, right? Simultaneously and making targeted calculations in real time, right? And then you got the ECS, or the engagement control system. And that's where the crew sits, where operators, like I used to be, watching screens, making decisions with seconds to respond if a threat is inbound. There's no margin for error in that station, right? So when a ballistic missile is like 60 seconds from impact, you are not double checking anything. You already know what you're doing, or people die, right? And then you have the power generation unit, the launching station, the communications system, the interceptor missiles themselves, the PAC-3 missiles that actually go up and kill the incoming threat. All of that has to work together seamlessly in real time in a combat environment under pressure. So when someone says just give Ukraine a production license for the missiles, what they're really asking about is the manufacturing of the most sensitive components of one of the most sophisticated weapon systems the United States has ever built. The radar technology alone is among the most classified in the U.S. military arsenal, right? And it's not a small axe, right? It's a massive, historically significant ask. And I don't think that the people in those TV studios talking about it understand what they're actually describing, okay? So let's go back to this chart. I want you guys to take a look at this chart, right? Let me see something, right? So now let's talk about who actually builds all of that. Raytheon, which is now the RTX Corporation, right here on TradingView, right? I'm showing you guys this. And it's currently trading around 174. Okay. And let me pull back to the 52-week view. I'm gonna go weekly, man. I gotta actually move this thing so you guys can see, right? Because sometimes when you up close, you can't really see what's going on, right? So let me give you guys a better view of it. I wonder what happened around this area as it starts to go into an incline. Okay. But as you can see the full picture, right? You can see that low right there at about one. Let me see. It got down to about 100. The lowest I can see is like 76, right? This year, if we did the 52, it was at about 100, right? For the 52 week, right? So earlier this year, when Trump was actually going after Raytheon publicly, calling them the least responsive defense contractor, he was threatening to pull the Pentagon contracts unless they stop stock buybacks. That kind of public pressure from a sitting president hits a stop, right? Then Trump proposed a 1.5 trillion defense budget for 2027. Watch what happens to RTX right there on the chart. I mean, hopefully you guys see it, right? You can kind of see what happened. Okay. And starts climbing back, right? Now, Zelensky is on the national television asking for Patriot production licenses, which means potentially massive new Raytheon contracts on top of the 50 billion Patriot sustainment deal they already locked in last year. And analyst consensus price targets on RTX right now is sitting around 215 to 238. Stock is at 176 today. And I'm not a financial advisor. I do not tell anybody what to buy or sell. I'm just pulling up a chart and telling you what's happening in the news and let you connect the dots yourself. All right. But I will say this: somebody in Washington already knows how this conversation ends, and they probably already made their move. Okay. RTX, write it down, take a look at it. Right. And here's the thing I want to leave with you on this story that goes beyond the stock price and beyond the missile count, right? At the same time, all of this is happening the same week. Zelensky is asking for Patriot production licenses, right? The Trump admin just eased restrictions on NVIDIA chips going to China because you saw the CEOs fly over there and they had some meetings. So let me get this straight. We're having a conversation about whether to share sensitive weapons technology with an ally who is actively in a war defending themselves. Meanwhile, we're losing in technology restrictions on a strategic competitor, and we don't have enough missiles to produce. I'm just watching the board. I'm not telling you what any of it means, right? But something is moving on this chessboard, and I think it's worth paying attention to which pieces are going where. All right. Any other veterans out there who worked on the Patriot system with me, any branch, any error, drop it in the comments. I want to hear from you specifically. All right. And for everyone else, do you think the U.S. should give Ukraine production licenses for the Patriot? Is this too much of a technology risk? Or is the supply gap so serious that something has to give? Okay. Drop it below. Real conversations only. And stay right here because coming up, right, we're going to talk about our boy Trump and some more stock in a company that owns the UFC. And as we all know, there's a UFC fight on the White House lawn on his birthday. Construction already started. The People's House looks like a job site right now. And I'm pulling up the TradingView chart on that one too. Okay. So if you're not subscribed yet, do that right now. Hit the bell. Hype me up. And if you missed the earlier videos today, all right, one is about a North Carolina cop that's, you know what I'm saying, want to duke it up. We got one about an FBI scammer, cancer scammer. And then we're talking about transgender athletes too. So take a look at any of those videos if you're interested. And also, man, we appreciate anybody and go check those out.